Greece, right? How many times have we been on the show and we say, oh, any second, any day, any hour, hasn't happened yet. This Greece deal is a little bit further away than you think it might be from happening. Stephen Fidler is in Brussels to explain us exactly how far we are. Stephen, your column, it's interesting. The range of outcomes is, it's big. It's like this still, right?
It's still all to play for. It surprises me, really. I think that if you talk to people fairly close to the negotiations, you hear a lot of anxiety. You get the sense of a lot of anxiety that there's a lot of things to do before this deal comes together. But it seems the markets are sort of taking it pretty much for granted that there is going to be a deal. And there may be, it's probably still the most likely outcome, but it's not the only possible outcome at this stage. There are a lot of very difficult talks ahead.
Right.
But Stephen, even with a so-called deal, there's a sense that there could be some very negative market outcomes. What would be the best case scenario, assuming a deal happens, and in terms of a market reaction?
Well, I guess the best case, I think the most likely outcome is that there is a sort of that there is a deal between the Institute of International Finance and the Greeks that's signed off by the Troika, the IMF, the ECB, and the European Commission. It seems likely that there will be then some retrofitting, as they call it, of collective action clauses that will cram down the holdouts, the people who don't want to join the deal. That seems to be the most likely outcome. Now, from a market point of view, you have to assume that that market participants expect this to happen. And if that's the case, there won't be too much of a shock when it does. If people are really expecting that this is a truly voluntary deal, in which there won't be a cram down of unwilling bondholders, then the reaction could be negative. And there will also be a read across from Greece to other countries in the Eurozone, including particularly Portugal.
Yeah, hey Steve, I'm going to ask you a quick incendiary question. Is Germany trying to get rid of Greece? Are they trying to get them out of the Eurozone? Because it seems to me like they're being a little more hard line than they should be if they want a deal.
You're not the first person to have suggested that. Obviously, when you're in a position, in a negotiating position, and you're taking the other view, you want to sort of leave all options open. You want to sort of give the idea that you're willing to consider any outcome, and they don't want to tip their hand too early, because the last thing the Germans want is really to be piling more money into Greece that they don't really feel the Greeks deserve. So there may be some negotiating position here. I think there sort of is a recognition that if one country should leave the Eurozone, the consequences for the rest of the Eurozone, including Germany, could be very high. But it's hard to tell at the moment. I think probably it is a kind of negotiating position. They would prefer the Greeks to stay in, but maybe they're starting to think that there could be worse things than they leave.
Maybe. All right, Stephen Fidler, thank you very much, sir.